say the time passed, you think nothing really changed but the dates.
Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography. I thought I'd mix it up. I don't know. And welcome to our Aerosmith ranking. This was my pick. Each week, one of us brings an artist to the table for their friends to bash on. And this week, I decided to let everybody bash on Aerosmith. So,
You're damn right.
I brought Brian as a special guest to help me defend Aerosmith, while Bill and Tim destroy them. I'm just making all that up.
Well, when you line them up T-ball style, we got to hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not even slow pitch.
I didn't give you Nickelback, so, the bar's a little higher here.
It's still on the tee. It's still on the tee, though.
It is on the tee. I would say, though, before I even get into this album, I'll say it's better than Nickelback.
All right, no spoilers because we do have a Nickelback color on the board now. So, all right, we're talking 1993's "Get a Grip." This is going to be a long one because there's a big time gap between this one and Nine Lives that I was there for. So, I have to start too, don't I? Is it my turn to talk first? Fuck.
Yeah, welcome to the party, Jason.
Shit. I'll go back and forth with Bill, but I just want to say I did have an Aerosmith when I was in 8th grade. My sweet grandmother took me to the mall. You guys remember Impulses? It was over there by Spencer's in Cordova. It was kind of like, it's Pensacola. You guys might not have known, and they had bootlegs. I bought a lot of Nirvana bootlegs, but I wanted an Aerosmith shirt, and it was the album cover for Get a Grip. And my grandmother, my sweet grandmother, she bought it for me, but I had to convince her. She's like, "That's gross. That is so vile. That nipple's being pierced." Things were a lot different in the 90s, but I eventually got it, and it was better than Cowboy's Get a Grip shirt because he took a Sharpie marker and wrote Aerosmith, Get a Grip in a black Sharpie, only he misspelled Aerosmith, and it was Aerosmith, Get a Grip. So shout out Cowboy and your homemade shirts.
God, I was just thinking the other day how much I miss Sharpie t-shirts.
Yeah.
Need a new shirt? Just make your own.
Just make your own. I can't remember the other one. He made a Nirvana one that was, he misspelled incesticide, but nobody really knew.
Well, I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, made up word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the flipper homemade Kurt Cobain shirt with the Sharpie marker.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what was the one Kurt Cobain did with the corporate rock magazine Suck or something on a magazine cover? I made that one too.
Yep.
On Rolling Stone, yeah.
Yeah, I was proud of that.
All right, Bill, let's go back and forth on Get a Grip.
Sure.
Please tell me someone's gonna defend intro.
I said rap ?
You said what?
Rap with a question mark.
I said that's how you do an intro.
Hey, I think it's a great intro to the song, and I think it's a great intro to the album.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just do a 4-way back and forth here all the way through.
Okay.
Eat the Rich, top song contender.
Well, then I'll give you mine for intro real quick.
Okay.
Douche Chill City.
Man, wake up, kid.
I don't know, man. Those 93 times, rap was pretty big.
Oh, I know.
I never thought this as much as rap as like sometimes they had that rockabilly kind of almost scatting kind of, westerny kind of shit. I thought it was I never thought of it as rap.
Yeah, I was thinking of it more of like a ragdoll or like skibidi-bidi-bidi-bidi stuff that Tim likes to do.
Well, I'm sorry, what was that? Could you repeat that, Jason?
Scat.
I didn't hear you.
No, I'm good.
I need you to repeat
the camera
that
got
last
it.
phrase.
The camera got it. It's okay.
Are you sure? I think it was Skib. Help me out.
Oh my God! All right, Eat the Rich. Top song contender. Nostalgia is playing 100,000% into this. It's just a fun song.
Great lyrics.
I wrote classic top song contender. One of the first Aerosmith songs I think of. It's catchy. It's exceptionally catchy.
Come rain on our parade,
yeah,
Tim.
decent opener. I do find the title hilarious and ironic, though,
Yeah.
and pandering.
My
Oh, yeah.
my mom told me that same thing when I was a kid, and I wouldn't shut up about this album. And she was like, "Honey, you realize that they're rich." But I was like, "Yeah, but they did the "Walk This Way" riff in the beginning of it. I mean, how can you argue with that, Mom?"
Well, you can't argue with that because now they're just recycling their riffs
Which isn't new
and
for them.
complaining about the rich, even though they're just recycling the riffs that made them rich. But we'll get into that. Desmond Child shows up a little later.
All right. Fever. Only 2 songs on this record that doesn't have outside riders. And Fever's the first one. It sounds like old school Aerosmith blues rock. Good shit.
All right, we're skipping Get a Grip going to Fever. I
Oh,
said it was
shit.
fast paced. I thought it was damn good mixing that occurred on it as well.
Okay.
We're talking about "Get a Grip."
Well, we're talking about Fever, and then we're going to go back to Get a Grip.
Okay, Fever, good fun rock. It was a little bit mad for me as far as like the styling going, but it wasn't a bad song. I thought it kind of rocked.
Yeah, Fever, it's decent. It's good.
All right. Get a Grip title track. It's fine. It's a rocker. It's catchy. It's fun.
Fast paced. I kind of liked the guitar solo. Thought it was good. And I thought it was a solid follow up to Eat the Rich.
I thought it had a great gritty sound to it, especially the way they cadenced out that little micro chorus where they're actually saying the name of the song. I've always thought it was a really cool sounding way they did the vocals. Like there's that high vocal mixed in with the mid vocal at the same time, gave it just a kind of a metal-esque kind of vocal sound. I was always a big fan of the Get a Grip, the title track.
It's fun. It's catchy. It bounces along. It's fun.
Living on the Edge. Top song contender. Really good lyrics are even more relevant today. Times change are great. The time changes are great. Solo, all of it. I ain't gonna hate on it. I fucking like Living on the Edge.
All right, Living on the Edge, absolute top song for me on this album by far. Not because the album isn't good, but because this song is so great. Someone recently ruined it for me by comparing the melody to the Cheers theme song, which I cannot unhear no matter what I've done. And then also realizing that Cheers was recorded in Boston, where Aerosmith is from, made me just feel kind of crazy. I tried really hard to find some kind of mashup on the internet and couldn't. Someone's got to make that.
What asshole did that to you? Jesus.
I don't know. Some low life, just hateful, the kind of guy that goes to a beach and just gets mad at everybody for enjoying themselves. That, I don't know, some drunken talking head probably just put it into my mind that it is. And I've had my wife sing Living on the Edge to me while I sang the Cheers theme song to her. And we got about a verse in before she got pissed off.
Hey, but the Cheers theme song is fucking top song too, like for theme songs.
No doubt.
Like, come on, man, that's a good fucking song.
But now it sounds like Aerosmith to me.
It's that Boston connection, yo.
The great thing about Living on the Edge, though, is it's one of those songs that, I think it's in, I want to say D minor or D minor 7th, but it pretty much stays there until the key changes for the bridges. And then the final verse, but the way they just kind of like stayed in that one tone, that one note area, and just kind of did the flourishes, would let the vocal melody kind of lead it. I thought it was just, as a kid and now, I think it's genius.
Yeah, I don't like the everybody. Like the vocals get too layered. It's pretty produced. Yeah, it may or may not always put the Cheers theme songs in my head. It's all right. It's all right.
Man.
Did someone point that out to you one day, or did you arrive at that on your own?
That was my own discovery.
You should, for your own benefit, just stop. Like, if you want to
I
enjoy
can't. Like
anything,
I wasn't looking for this
you need some
discovery.
beta blockers or something. Like, man, I'm like a pretty hapless guy, and I just enjoy everything. And man, you're right though. It's right there on the money. It's pretty hard to deny.
All right. What did Bill talk about living on the edge? Yeah.
No, I don't think he
No.
No. Okay.
I love the changes in the vocals going from, the verses to the choruses. I thought those were cool. Just kind of like like it's weird hearing Steven Tyler just like da 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 da, da, and then going to his usual, I want to say screaming, but like his high pitch, regular vocals. I thought that was really cool to hear and see. Actually, I understand. I love the pace changes and everything else that occurred with that as well. I thought they actually did that very well.
And you gotta love the da-da-da-da-da-da part.
The what part? My thing cut out. What was the part?
The camera
Hell yeah,
got
maybe.
it.
Hell yeah.
See, this is Brian's first time on the show. He doesn't know that I'm the
No, I
editor.
think he's catching on.
Well, he doesn't know that I'm the editor, and things might just magically disappear.
Okay, so
Like what?
I do want to hit on what Bill was saying there. I know it's not quite the quiet, loud, dynamic Pixies Nirvana, but it was Nevermind 92.
91.
91.
So the start stop, the quiet, loud dynamic was already kind of popularized at this point on rock radio, because it kind of seems
By
like
93, everybody was doing it if they weren't already.
okay.
Yeah.
So were they like, was Aerosmith kind of ahead of the pack here, or were they like more kind of following the pack with that? Because it is kind of that dynamic with the more reserved Steven Tyler on Living on the Edge for the verse, and then kind of like coming alive on the chorus, but only saying a small phrase repeated.
No,
And
halfway
then-
through 92, it was a switch, and everybody at that point just started doing it. And
Okay.
so, yeah, they're just like right there in the middle of everybody else.
I was afraid of that.
I mean, to be fair, they're doing better than
Oh yeah.
their contemporaries, or Poison, for example.
Well, sure. Yeah.
So Poison and Aerosmith are officially contemporaries at this point?
Through the 80s, they were, yeah.
I think Aerosmith always was a little bit above Poison. I think Aerosmith at this point is still looking to Bon Jovi, to Motley Crue. They're also probably looking at what Alice Cooper's been doing the last couple years.
So somewhere around this time, I was reading the other day, it may have been Pump, but maybe Get a Grip, where they recorded the album in the same place as the most recent Bon Jovi album.
Little
And
Mountain, yeah.
and they had and Steven Tyler was quoted as saying, like, I don't even listen to that guy. I didn't know it was the same place, same studio.
Well, and then talking with this is what, the third album now that we've had Desmond Child make an appearance, and he wrote "Living on a Prayer." So, they're going down the exact same.
Living on a prayer. Okay, not the edge.
Not living on the edge. Living on a prayer.
Some could argue that's kind of a similar phrase, right? I mean.
And then I mentioned in the last episode where Steven Tyler was on Dr. Feelgood. He was on a track with Jack Blades from Night Ranger and Tommy Shaw from Styx, who also are a songwriting team. They were in that band Damn Yankees with Ted Nugent, if anybody remembers that.
Yeah.
And they had a really big, successful songwriting career. And here they are showing up on Shut Up and Dance. But I'm jumping ahead.
All right, yeah. Up next, Flesh. It's fine. I like Steven's vocals, how he's matching the main riff. on the intro. Sounds pretty cool. Overall, it's just kind of meh, though.
I thought the intro was scary as a kid. I thought it was dope. It whatever that little sound is at the beginning as a child, I thought he was like tapping on a piece of broken glass and it was wobbling. I don't know how to really explain that, but I thought Flesh was a great song as far as having like that grit, that edge to it. And like you mentioned, how the vocals kind of follow along with the guitar when he's singing, and the way he kind of screams out like Back in the Saddle kind of a scream. I really like it when Steven Tyler does those kind of vocals.
Not Desmond Child's best output.
Interesting intro. Had low pitched vocals, which was interesting. And then the guitar / instrumental section I thought was pretty decent. Not good, decent.
Yeah, it's kind of meh. Yeah, it's alright. Walk On Down, it's classic sounding. It's not as good as Joe's older stuff. It's the only other song that was not written by anybody outside of the band.
Is that Joe Perry singing?
Yeah.
I thought it was a good track. Still do.
Oh, I thought it was repetitive and simple at times. Nothing really super exciting for me.
Yeah, if they're going to continue to let Joe Perry become the Keith Richards of Aerosmith, then I'm here for it. Because much like the Keith Richards songs, these end up being highlights from this album going forward. No spoilers. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Shut Up and Dance, I like it. I love it. Another one I would sing to Cowboy when we'd start.
You want some more of it?
When I'd start talking shit in Mario Kart. I'd tell him shut up and dance. FYI, he never did. He just got schooled, but whatever, you know. It's a fun start to the B-side.
I thought it was a cool song. Sounded like a Pump era track to me. Like maybe they had it in their repertoire already. Good track. I have nothing really negative to say about it. It's not my favorite, but it's a good rocker.
Yeah, well, gosh darn, basically the same note that I got here. Other than I called out and said specifically, I felt like it was a Lovin' in the Elevator reprise. Lovin' the Elevator. Lovin' an Elevator. You know what I'm saying. Reprise of that one had a longer instrumental. It was okay.
Yeah, I prefer Tyler Perry working with Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw over like I don't know. There's somebody coming up in a couple albums that I think is not the best collaborator, and I know Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw are busy on their own, but I think that if they got together and wrote more stuff with Tyler Perry, it'd be pretty good. Because this one, well, nothing memorable about it. It's for this album, it's one of the higher points. So,
I mean, it's no, Marty written song or anything.
Right.
We'll get to that.
Yes, we will.
Crying. This video made me feel things at the age of 13. I say the song still holds up. Get a Grip didn't have a bad single on it. I'll talk about that more at the end, but I like Crying.
Crying. Great track. Great rock song. Very big sounding. I'll agree that it holds up. I didn't really realize how great it was when this album came out. It wasn't my favorite as a youngster, but looking back on it, when I play this album, it's a big standout. I think it's got great songwriting, great lyrics. It's put together very well, good structure.
Crying, another big song by them. I don't know. This one never really hit with me. Like, it's okay. I see how it can be good, but for me, it just never was one of the bigger songs for me.
Great music video.
Yeah, so we are. We're definitely ahead of Nickelback, and we're about the same time as when Def Leppard starts heading into this territory. So Aerosmith could be on the same level as a Def Leppard here in Breaking New Grounds, where we're about to really introduce that Nashville country Matchbox 20 rock sound to the radio, and hard pass.
Gotta love it. Kind of meh. There's a couple cool little parts and interesting things here and there, but the whole song as a whole, it's nothing special.
Filler for me.
Worst song on the album.
Completely forgettable.
Hey, we all agreed on something.
Holy shit.
That's how bad it is.
Crazy. I still like it. It's slow, it's bluesy, and it has a sloppy feel to it, but it works. Steven does some really cool shit vocally on here.
Okay, the Crying Crazy Amazing trilogy of videos. I thought Crazy was better than Crying, not as good as Amazing. I'll agree, very, very good vocal delivery, good performance. I love how big it sounds, just like Crying as far as the arrangement. I'll agree that it holds up. I really like Crazy a lot.
Let's see, Crazy, I actually liked the blues folk start that it had. It had a nice slow flow to it, and it was really pretty. It's, actually a very solid song.
The guy who did the orchestra arrangements for Crazy and Amazing also wrote the music for Brokeback Mountain.
The more you know.
I don't know what I would do without that information.
Do with it what you want.
And we're back. All right. Lineup, it just happens. Total filler for me.
Same lineup, and gotta love it. We're always quick skips for me.
Lineup, it's okay. Nothing super crazy going on with it.
Lenny Kravitz.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. The ballad. It's fucking gorgeous. Holds up. It's just composed very well. I love how Kramer comes in. The chorus soars. It's good shit.
I felt like Amazing was the best way to round out the trilogy, the Crying Crazy Amazing trilogy. It's got an eerie sound to it, a lot of regret. I feel like I'm not sure about the songwriting credits, and I'm sure Tim can enlighten us here. But it sounds very personal, lyrics wise, based on what the band has been through with Joe Perry and Steven Tyler. I didn't know what it was about as a kid, like I do now, but I've always felt it. Great track. It's really hard for me to say it's the best track on the album compared to Living on the Edge, but Amazing, Living on the Edge, and Eat the Rich are definitely the three top gems of the album for me.
So to answer your songwriting question, this is a Steven Tyler composition that he composed with a man whose only real other credit was working on Richie Sambora solo albums.
So it was a step up for him.
So now you've given me an album that includes Desmond Child, Lenny Kravitz, and Don Henley.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Are you gonna go my way?
So Lenny Kravitz has a songwriting credit for Line Up.
Yep. And sings
Wow.
backup on there.
And he wasn't out yet with his big debut, was he? Like,
Yeah, Are
Let
You Gonna
Love-
Go My Way is already out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Let Love Rule was out in like '88.
Yeah.
He's been around
Really?
a while.
Let
Yeah.
Love Rule was '88.
'89.
He hasn't flown away yet. But
So I'm saying, Are You Gonna Go My Way was '93 before this album.
Right,
It
but
was-
that was already like a comeback single. He was already big.
all right, Bill, what you got for Amazing?
Amazing. I thought the violin was a really cool instrument to start it off with. And I felt like you could really feel the emotion coming through the lyrics as the vocalist was singing.
All right. Boogeyman. Pointless closing instrumental.
I'm a sucker for a cool, interesting closer, and just like the movie, I thought it was a neat way to close the album. It probably was not initially meant to be a song. They just come up with it as something cool to put at the end of the album, and I thought it went pretty well.
Filling up that CD runtime.
Yeah, so for Boogeyman, my notes say, the first quarter of this album came out swinging pretty good. But after Living on the Edge, this thing has just kind of crawled to a stop.
I thought it was a cool, eerie instrumental. I thought it was an awesome way to end the album.
All right. We was divided on Boogeyman.
What a weird track to have an opinion about, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you know I like my Eries and I like my instrumentals.
I'll quickly go through the B-sides here because there's a lot of them. Can't Stop Messin' should have been on the album. Sounds more like old school Aerosmith. I think it would have helped the album.
Another Blade Shaw contribution.
Did you guys listen to the B-sides?
I didn't listen to any of these B-sides. They were not on the playlist I listened to.
Okay.
I didn't either.
Oh, Walk on Water, though, right, John?
Oh,
Brian?
for sure, from Big Ones.
Yeah. So Walk on Water, opening of Big Ones, kicks ass. The chorus is catchy and fun.
I really enjoyed the vocal delivery on that one, and I'm always glad to hear an Aerosmith song with drums that do something beside the standard bump tip sound. So I thought the drums were good. Overall, great song. Good guitar riff.
All right. Blind Man, musically, it may be a sign of things to come. But damn, this is a top song contender. The lyrics are top tier for Aerosmith. I love the I went to night school for the blues line. It's a beautiful song about facing your past, dealing with sobriety. Big Ones is how you do a greatest hits. 2 new songs plus a non-studio album single with Deuces Are Wild, which is a top song contender as well and gets mentioned on our album of the year for 1993. Shameless plug. Go check that out.
I do know Deuces Wild for sure.
Sorry, my notes kind of bled together there.
Blind Man, I thought was a really good track. I didn't hear it until Big Ones came out. Really creative. I thought they did a good job of kind of steering back out of some of the grittiness they tried with the bigger songs on Get a Grip. I thought it was a good track. It's fun.
Musically, it's definitely a sign of times to come, things to come, but I think it's a good song. And Deuces Are Wild, I mean, that's a good one too.
Deuces Are Wild, man, one of the catchiest Aerosmith songs besides Ragdoll. Just easy to sing along to, easy to get stuck in your head. It's one of those songs that when you've been thinking about it and you put it on, it's actually satisfying to hear it again. Like I really enjoy it.
My notes do say, though, in hindsight, knowing what we know now, it's a little creepy lyrically.
We're talking about some accusations here.
I mean,
I think they're
confirmations. They're confirmations.
They did have to admit that the cover was Photoshop or whatever program they were using in '93. I guess that would have been like Paint or whatever.
I do like the logo being like a stamp
brand?
on the cow, though. Yeah, brand. That's pretty cool.
You don't brand that hind quarter though like that. That's a lot of meat going.
How big of a deal was like the animal rights activism at this time? Was this a jab? Was this a political statement? Like they're gonna brand this cow and pierce its nipple? At the time, I thought it was making fun of the counterculture. Now, keep in mind, I was 10 or 11, but I thought it was kind of making fun of the counterculture getting popular again with tattoos and piercings. And then in the album sleeve, in the tape cassette, it had the guy with the piercing going from his nose to his ear. I thought it was making fun of that, but now I'm kind of wondering: is it some sort of a pseudo political statement or something?
No, I mean, I think it was them just trying to look cool, trying to look like.
Yeah, that was the fashion at the time.
Yeah, They're just trying to stay cool with the times.
Irrelevant.
They did have some activists like upset though. Like the album cover
People
was
did get upset
controversial.
with the cover, but I don't know if they were courting that.
No, I think they were just trying to be cool.
Cool.
I do remember reading where either Whitford or Hamilton, one of them had said like, "Oh yeah, like we're gonna go out and do this terrible thing to a poor cow." No, it's fake. Like defending some sort of accusation, but maybe that was in one of those like posters magazines you could get that it had your favorite band on the
Sure.
cover, but you get like 5 posters or 7 posters for your wall or whatever.
Sure.
All right. Whose turn is it to guess?
Bill.
Some bums.
So, Bill.
Yep. I'm gonna try and do this easiest to hardest. So for Brian, I'm gonna say it's gonna be number 1.
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Can't fight the nostalgia.
These big ass discographies are a pain in the ass for me. I guess I
See.
could do-
It's number 1 for me subjectively and as an objective observer. I just think the songwriting, the execution, the delivery, the performance, the recording, everything there just makes it number 1 at this point. At this point.
Shoot. And Jason was talking, so I should know where it is, but I'm trying to remember where he had it. Let's see. Well, it's definitely above self-titled, so we may as well move all those other ones down to the left.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's above self-titled. I want to say it's this next batch. I think it's gonna be above Pump for you as well. Because nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Really?
Okay, it's gonna be right behind.
I would have thought for sure it had been between
right behind.
Toys and
It's gonna
Rocks.
be right behind Ruts. That's where it's gonna be.
Right behind Ruts?
Yes, there's gonna be right in front of it.
You are correct.
There we go.
This
okay.
is my hot take right here. Let me read my final notes. Get a Grip doesn't feel like a solid album. It feels like an album to sell some singles. Pump was a well thought out album from front to back. Get a Grip has a lot of filler on it. And the singles are the best part of it, pretty much. Ranking it's tough, hot take. But I'm going to have to put it behind Night in the Ruts. I go back to Ruts a lot more now than I do Get a Grip. Get a Grip to me is stuck in 93. I'll play it for nostalgia once in a while, but I'll rock out to Ruts more often.
Okay, now I get to. Tim was gonna be the hardest one for me to guess. No, it's not going to 11 spot for Tim. I know that. Same as Jason. Let's get it. It's above the self-titled album. It's gonna be above
Yes.
Draw the Line as well.
Yeah.
I think Tim's gonna have it. Gosh darn it. I'm not saying it's right behind. I believe it's going to be below Pump for Tim.
I mean, it is below Pump, but not right below Pump.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to narrow it down here. I think you're gonna have it right above Ruts, but that's it.
Close. I'm going to go with Ruts is better.
Oh, so it should be just right. So right where I divided it initially. Gosh darn it.
Yep.
I should just go,
Yep.
just go with my initial guess.
I would have guessed that too. I would have guessed what you guessed.
And then we get me. Let's stick it right below Wings.
All right, we are getting a little bit all over the place now. I like it. Stick around, like, subscribe. We're talking 9 Lives next. Be safe and make good decisions.
Something wrong with the world today. The light bulb's getting